Welcome to the city of brotherly girls.
All right, we're back. The legend himself, the Lion, Ryan, the Lion Schwartzberg, coming off
What's
two
up?
crazy fights. First round knockout in his last fight, TKO stoppage. And then the DAZN series, Misfits boxing series, made his appearance on there. Stole the show, really. How you been, Ryan? How you been, brother?
My brother, Danny Z. Thanks for having me. The city of brotherly gloves. Let's go.
Oh man,
Yeah, man. Thanks for representing the dog, man. Let's go. The lion. That boy. Yeah, he did the lion, man. We got two fights last month, which was awesome, but you had them mixed. We did we were scheduled to do that fight that I just ended off with that
yeah,
knockout. That was in play. That was with M&R, and that was gonna happen. And I was preparing for that. I was for the first time in my career gonna be the A side guy. I was like, looking to get back in the win column again. Get a you know, it was gonna be my time to shine, right? I was gonna be the guy. But then all of a sudden, Misfits DAZN series called, and honestly, I had even no idea. I'd never even heard about the Misfits. Like, have you heard about them even before? Like, I fought with them.
yeah. They do like the KSI fights and like the
Yeah,
influencers, but then they mix in pros, you know?
right. And even some people thought like the fight that I did with Jahan was a Misfits fight, But no, it was a pro fight. We were probably like one of two real pro fights on the card. Um, it was interesting, man. It was so cool to like see like where boxing is transitioning now to like the crossover boxing, which is like they got like boxing is definitely getting more popular, and people want to see these influencers box. And literally right before I went, these two porn stars fought each other. Two chicks, they scrapped it out. One of them got a whole bloody face, but it's just pure entertainment. So you got you got that aspect of it, and then you got some real fights in there mixed in there. And then you got influencers that can fight too, but they're in this category. It's like not pro. It's called misfits, it's like influencer boxing. But yeah, so Days On called me, and they offered me this kid. And honestly, I didn't really take the offer like too serious because I was concerned with this fight, the fight that I was already committed to. And they offered me a sum of money, and I was like, okay, that's pretty damn good, but I got this thing going on. And the next day they were like, listen, man, you got to be the guy. And listen, let me backtrack and tell you something that's really funny too, because I was already scheduled to do this fight here, like the fight on the 24th, right? The fight that I just recently had, that where I got my first round knockout. That fight was scheduled to happen, right? So, but um, they called me and they're like, "Hey, did you know you're booked already for this other fight?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't know what that's about, but somebody's just probably just throwing my name around because whatever. I deal with a lot of matchmakers, and a lot of matchmakers like to just be like, yeah, Ryan the Lion, he'll do it, boom. But I was already on BoxRec with this kid, Jahan Ingram, and it was already like commission approved and everything. So that's a little farther. That's another step farther, rather than just hearsay. So we were like, what's going on? And dude, somebody just submitted my name and probably was like, yo, hit this kid up, he'll do it. And yo, without me even like approving, like verbally or even knowing about the fight, they approved the fight, they had it set, and they started negotiating with me after. So they really put their eggs in that one basket for me to come through for them. And guess they called the right guy, man, because you know what? It was the week of the fight, and I just said, I realized, you know what? The next day they upped the offer and they're like, listen, you're the guy. It's a big event. It's the James L. Knight Center and it's on Days On. Like, do this, bro. And you know what? I prayed on it. That's what I did, because I encountered my guy Gil, who made me this hat actually. Some more lion gear, He made me a hat, and I was like, yo, man, I just got an offer for this fight, but I have this other fight in like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm trying to pull them both off. Man, I prayed on it, and I just, you know what? I just came out of it with just some fire, and I was like, man, let's go. So I just decided, man, let's get it. So we did the DAZN fight, and we had an awesome fight, man. Fight was awesome, dude. Honestly, if I was the A side guy in that fight, you would have said I won.
100%.
But man, like when you watch the commentary, dude, and like you watch how the fight played out, I was the one bringing the fight. I was the one smacking him up, and they would like say nothing. Oh, Ryan the Lion doing his little thing, but then Jahan laying like one little shot. They're like, oh my God, you see the dynamic, versatile.
I told you I'm usually like quiet on Instagram and all. I had a comment on that. I had to stick up for the line. I was like,
That bad?
I
It
just
was
said
bad, right?
it was pretty bad. I even sent you when I sent you the whole video. You can see it in the beginning how they're constantly talking down, but then toward the end they had nothing to really say. You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
I know. I can't believe they tried to talk about like, and it's these guys have no idea like even
They're
who I am. They're from
they're
like
misfits
England,
announced.
misfits, Instagram, social media guys, but they're over here talking like, oh, the lion turning into a kitten over here. Like it looks like it's gonna be the end. Like you have no idea who I am, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
crazy.
dude, I'm about to beat your boy. And you know it was upsetting too when like it was like I had a good first round. Like I knocked him around a bit, and this kid didn't get his first round knockout streak going like he had going. They chummed it up to him having a rough round. Oh, him getting warmed up, not oh Ryan the Lion's doing good. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like oh he's just getting warmed up. He'll get him. He'll get like bro, dude. I'm getting warmed up and I'm beating him.
Definitely
So
took the first two rounds, I thought for sure. And then after that, maybe you could give him a round or two. But either
and
way, it
like
wasn't sweet.
he got me with like a good shot in the third round that didn't
Huh.
rattle me like nothing I haven't ever felt, nothing that popped me and made me stumble whatsoever. Kid was on the ground 3 times in our fight, you know what I'm saying? And he was the one doing this. All this like trying to get the and the ref, he was on my ass. So like every time, like, so I had a tactic when I was fighting him, I would be I would tag him up, and then this kid would like go to rear up to hit me, and I would tie him up and wrestle his ass, and I just wouldn't let him get off, and like he even mentioned in his interview that I was very frustrating to fight because and he didn't have a good performance. Well, it's because I didn't let him have a good performance.
Exactly.
I'm the one that strategized to stop what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I was over here, like, grappling a little bit, and I wasn't overwhelmingly wrestling or anything like that, but like the ref was making sure, like, yo, don't put him down, don't put him down. I'll take a point. I'll take a point. He was
Yeah.
like, make sure you don't put him down. It's like he was on my ass, like, if it was the other way, they would have been trying to have him kill me or some shit, probably. But it's just the politics of boxing that people don't understand, that what like, they look at my record. Like I had some dude on Instagram trying to clown me the other day. Like, bro, you're 5-16. Calm down, bro. And it's just like, dude, it's like, all right, first of all, I never even disrespect nobody because anybody that steps in, I respect, bro. But dude, you have to respect a guy like me who doesn't pad their record. And you're forgetting about the three, also the 5-16 and 3 draws. Okay, because those 3 draws were really
Oh,
wins
yeah.
against freaking top dudes who are, right now undefeated, right? But really, is what happened is I beat them, and they gave us a draw. They gave us both a dub, basically. So they always leave out my 3 draws, but dog, that's 3 dubs right there. Like,
Anyone
but
who's chirping is anyone who's like talking shit basically. They're like what's the saying? They're behind you. If they're talking behind your back, then they are behind you. So don't worry about that. You know what I mean?
definitely people that don't know like what it really is, or and even if you looked at like what a fighter like me like goes through being like the opponent, usually like we're the guys that show up on, and I love to talk about like the B-side warrior story. Like we even made a little movie about it because like we literally go into Philly, like how I met you, and fight the undefeated cat, and now I'm at the point in my career where I'm fighting dudes that are 8-0, 10-0, 9-0, like 7-0. Everybody I fight is an undefeated dude that's just won a regional title or right before a regional title, or like literally, like if I fight somebody with a loss, the only person I fought with a loss, he had just lost his title fight. So it's like the next fight, he's been in camp, he's hungry as fuck. Like those are the guys that I fight, man. And you're gonna say that I'm not, a real fighter because I don't have a 9-0 streak, dude. You saw what I did to that last guy, dude. Dude, give me 20 of those in a row.
I was gonna say that.
I'll go 20-0 in one night.
Yeah, yeah.
Like straight up, this is what they do, man. So I got a little taste of that in my last experience, which is cool to get back on the winning, get back in the winning column. And, it definitely keeps our stock high. We're looking to possibly take another fight up there in against another top level contender. I don't know if you ever heard of a fighter. His name's Ahmad Jones. He's coming up. I think
No.
he's like 8-0. He's just another kid that he's from Maryland though. And we might fight him next, but it definitely keeps my numbers a little higher, being coming off a win, so that stuff does play a factor,
Even though,
coming off a knockout win.
yeah.
The lion. So
Even though you got that, it was like even though you got the win, like I watched the fight, it was almost like frustrating though, because I wanted to see that. 'Cause you're like if it was like two different
I was
levels.
actually frustrated too.
Yeah, I saw
That
that
like
in the interview. Yeah, because it was too easy for you. It was just like it was a joke almost how higher of a level you were than him. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it was
yeah.
nuts. You just
And he claims
completely
he's like an undefeated fighter, but that's
yeah.
because he's an amateur undefeated fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the difference. Like there was an experience difference in the pro division, and that was
You couldn't
completely
even
clear.
you couldn't even hit you. You could have put him out like it was like 10 seconds away from just putting his lights out up against the ropes. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
I wish they would have gave you
It's like we invested in the opportunity to have like this experience, this moment where we're there and we're the guy to watch and we're doing our thing, and then the ref stops it like the moment the guy gets in trouble, doesn't even give the kid an 8 count.
that.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it's over. Like, oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Hey, a win's a win, but dude, I'm like so used to going the distance and fighting, dudes that are like signed by like high promotions promoters that are heavily invested in, but this is just the levels, like it shows you, if I was one of these guys that had like an amateur career where I was found out about early and I was invested in it, I went to the pros with the level that I'm at now, you know what I mean? Like basically I went into the pros with no boxing experience. I was an MMA guy. I was 1-1 as a pro MMA fighter. And then I just decided, all right, let's do pro boxing now. So
Yeah.
now it's been 24 straight. And with respect to boxing, I've like stuck with boxing because it takes that type of focus to like start winning. And that's the only reason why I've been able to achieve wins, because otherwise they just take these MMA guys and they just chew them up. They eat them up on short notice. They get these guys off the couch and they offer them, more money than, double the money that they would get in an MMA fight. They're like, all right, great. And they'll go in there, but they're definitely going to lose to a boxer, if they're not like a real boxer, like that's just kind of how they figure it, like that's kind of how boxing is rigged. Like it's not rigged fights, but like boxers who have had extensive amateur careers will pick like guys like who are MMA guys, or like they did to me. And that's the reason why I have so many losses, because in the beginning of my career, in my first 10 fights, my fourth fight ever, I went to Madison Square Garden after I beat that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you want to win? Like, okay, like so I lost. I had a draw, which I won, but I got a draw, and then I won in Philly, and that's where I met you, and that's where shit really got real. Because now I won a professional boxing fight, which doesn't happen for B-side guys usually. Like it's that rare that my next fight was Madison Square Garden.
It's nuts.
So that's like the quantum leap, like that could happen. And like I wish I was the level I am now when I went and fought there then. And I've had some big opportunities, just like we did DAZN to, you know, with the misfits opportunity. Now we're able to show like who we are, but just like ESPN got me early, they love to get these guys early, like so they can beat me early. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we beat that guy already, dude. I wasn't the same guy. I wasn't even the lion
Yeah.
yet. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't even became the lion yet. I don't even think, So I was just fighting.
Never even asked you how'd you get that nickname?
Well, it did happen in one of the fights where I was supposed to be the golden lion. Someone was gonna call me the golden lion, but Ryan the Lion just popped out, and it just rolls off the tongue for everybody. And that's just been my MO, I've been a lion forever, man, and we got the lion on the chest, so got the lion heart, and it just makes sense.
Makes sense. Tell me about
God gave me that one, God's the ultimate Lion of Judah, I just want to be part of that lion pack.
I put the on the thing too. I like the crosses, the three crosses on
Yeah,
the.
brother. This is a beautiful design.
I
And this,
put that because of the three crosses in the Bible.
and I don't know if anybody knows, but Danny is the one that actually designed this shirt.
Yeah,
So
I was
it's
honored.
there's at least like I was not trying to exaggerate. There's at least like 70 or 80 shirts out there, and all over the world. I got another order coming in, and these are small orders, but I gotta get my lion gear up because the lion pack is growing,
Yeah,
and the brand is growing, and as a team we're building, and God is just good, man. More power is coming to us, and honestly, I feel like I'm just getting this thing going, dude.
for
You
sure you
know?
are. Yeah, and I even like tell them I ordered, as you know, I got a couple of shirts, ordered a couple of shirts for my friends, and they've been watching your fights too, and they see the same thing. Especially because they're all boxing guys, so they know. And they watch your fights. Like this guy's nuts. Like he goes in there 6-0. Ingram, they're saying how he's a Mayweather guy. And I'm like, and I'm telling them as we're watching, I'm like, I'm telling you right now, he's not going to go down the first round. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to even go down. He might even win the fight. I'm telling you right now. And as they
Yeah,
watch it,
you
they're like,
know,
oh
bro.
yeah, as we're watching, it's like, yeah, dude, I would give it to him. And then obviously this
Yeah,
fight starts.
yeah, because people are so used to seeing guys like him just dominate like his opponents, because that's just how they usually set these guys up. They're not used, until they're fighting like for world titles and stuff, and they're way up there, like they're just destroying their guys. But I gave this kid a real run for his money. They were pressing down, big. I seen his cheek was puffed up, and they were trying not to even show my highlights on like the slow mo, and trying not highlight the things I was doing, but I was doing so many different things that like you couldn't help but to notice some of the things that I'm doing. I didn't knock the kid out, but I was definitely bringing the fight to this kid. And it's funny because they were talking about how dynamic he was and all this. He was the one with like the really stout stance and kind of just creeping forward. I'm the one freaking switching southpaw to orthodox, jumping around, grabbing him, throwing him around the ring like who's being more dynamic. And it's funny when whoever has their eye on whoever's supposed to win. It's like in those kind of matchups, like with me and him, it could have been me that won the fight if your eyes were on me. So it
Point.
just shows. But coming from a camp like him, like you said, and I learned that he's part of the Mayweather school, that they're invested in him, and you could definitely tell that they were, because everybody was glazing him like they had money, like his team had money. They wanted to be friends with them. They wanted to know them. So you
That's a
could
good.
tell that's what money does.
Yeah. I was actually, I always thought about that, just watching fights. It's depending on who you're watching a lot of times. Like if I'm watching your fight, like I'm watching you, I'm watching everything you're doing. But if you're coming in as the B side, all eyes are just on the A side. So if they do a little thing, it's aside from the announcers and all, just the crowd and the fans when they're just watching it. It's almost like
Yeah.
that. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
You're watching.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the crowd's waiting for what they're gonna. I mean, yeah, a lot of the times in my fights, the crowd sways. They
Oh,
start to see, wow, this dude, holy shit. So I start to recognize that the crowd gets with me. They're giving me my credit, like, yo, this dude's fighting. Like, fuck what everybody else is saying. He's fighting. So I do get that sense, every time I fight, because I always bring it. I'm not there to lay down. So. I do feel the respect, but even the announcer or even the commentators, they love to like downplay, a lot of things like I do, because I'm always the opponent, you're right. So like I'll hit them with a clean kang kang kang, and they'll be like, oh yeah, and this dude's nose starts leaking, and then they're like, oh, like I didn't see what happened there, I just he must have been a you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, like you could clearly see, like I jacked him. You know what I mean? But maybe it was too quick for you. You didn't see it. but
it's
but
even the McCarthy fight when he fought the Irish fighter. He was all bloody like that too. Is that the fight you're talking about?
well, actually, no, it wasn't. It was the Virginia fight where I fought the 7-0 El Chingon. They
Okay.
gave him a unanimous decision. Like get one judge gave him every round, and it's just like, dude, I had a great fight against that guy, and that's like one of my least uh talked about fights, but it's just because that footage doesn't really come up too much. It just I put up some highlights. They downplay. They give me a unanimous decision loss. I did so well in that fight that I had a unanimous decision loss, but even after I lost, the comments or the announcer grabbed me and took me in front of the crowd and was like, how about Ryan the Lion Schwartzberg here? And the crowd erupted like I won, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I always win the crowd, but then they just give it to the hometown crowd. So it's like almost like everybody wins, I guess,
Yeah.
sometimes, but unless
Even
I knock them out, like that's what people don't understand. Like unless I knock them out, like it's hard to get the notch. They should have at least gave me a draw when I clearly won, but they'll still even give him the win.
that's how boxing is forever. And I even noticed after like the Ingram fight or after the McCarthy fight, they're always like humble because anyone who's gotten in the ring, I think like you're on a different level, obviously a pro fighter, but anyone who's even sparred or anything like that, or even just as a kid when you get in fights and stuff, like at the end of the day, like after respect is shown, kind of know who won. Like Ingram was real respectful at the end. He's
Yeah, yeah. You knew that was a rough fight for him, and it
everyone.
was like it didn't really highlight who he
Yeah,
was. He had to try and justify like why it happened like that. So it's like, all right, you had a rough fight, bro. Like, give some credit to the opponent who has 20 more fights than you, really. So it was honestly a step up for him, even though he has like all the amateur experience on me, and all that stuff. With me having now this pro experience, I feel like I've caught up, because when the gloves get a little smaller and the headgear comes off, this is grown man stuff. So when the kids were out there slapping around with the headgear on and kind of protected by the count rules and it was just more of a protected sport. When you're fighting a guy like me, like, and I'm swinging like that, you have to, you're definitely going to be tense. I don't care who you know what I'm saying? You're not just going to walk up and start cracking on me. Like, you're about, you might get knocked out. And like, as a man, like instinctively, you're not that dumb. These fighters are smart. So guys like Ingram and stuff like that, like they might have been able to walk up to other people and just start doing their thing. But with a guy like me, you can't just do that. So I
How
know that and I feel that, and I feel like I'm gonna really start using that to my advantage, my grown power, my experience power, and my control. I'm just kind of like keeping it going now, fight after fight now, and I've caught up, to the point where like I'm ready to start finishing guys like Jahan and guys on a big stage. Like I'm feeling like it's due very soon.
you even just watching your whole career now, almost like from seeing you in Philly against Umberger to seeing your last fight, like it's you've gained in level just watching it. Like you're smoother, you're switching stances, like you said, you're putting your weight on people. I think that's one of your biggest strengths is you're stronger than these guys. It's like
Yeah,
physical.
man, that comes from that the MMA experience, and I'm not like grabbing them so much and so that, but I know how to like nullify their strikes and like take away what they're good at, turn them, boom, boom, boom on the break, move them, and stay in control. And it's grappling, but
Yeah.
I feel like I have the advantage against these guys because a lot of these guys they like to just sit there and just fight like this. Like I use my arms, and I'd rather like tie you up and throw you around and throw you into a big punch and even just grab you up for a second and then bam, bam, and
Yeah.
like I see so many fighters, like even in like bare knuckle or like, they sit there on the ropes like this, ding, 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 and they expect their guard to like block everything. You will never, never catch me sitting there on the ropes doing this. Like if I ever get on the ropes and I back up, my next move is whoom, and I'm grabbing I'm yoking your ass up and I'm walking you backwards and boom, boom. But I will never sit there and try and like, block with my, I never understood that. But then again, not everybody's the lion, not everybody has like grappling experience, grappling techniques. I've been a football player my whole life. Like nobody's pushing me back. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That
So that's what I have. That's what I have in my favor. So that's something that's unique about me, and that's why these guys have a problem with
100%.
me.
What was the weight cut like? I know it was like Wednesday. Got the call. When did you get the call? And then what was that like? Like cutting the weight?
Oh, dude, you'll laugh at this story, bro. This is a great story, bro. So like in like the fighting industry, even like when I go to Philly and stuff like that, it's like always the same people. But like in Florida, it's all the same people, But the commission and stuff like that, I see all the same people every boxing show I go to and stuff like that. But yeah, so I needed to cut 11 pounds in 2 days, basically. So, so basically I was doing everything in the sweatsuit, and but the funny part comes of the day that I had to weigh in because um they told me like, oh, I had till 1 o'clock. And then there was a miscommunication, and it was basically like, yo, it's been done since 11. Like the commission is gonna leave. Like you have to get here. So it was like, holy crap. So bottom line is, I just had to just stop what I was doing. And the last time I weighed myself, I was 147. But thankfully, I had to get down to 140, right? So, but thankfully, I had started earlier that day, and I had been sweating all morning. But I thought I had about another hour. So I was kind of doing my thing, and they're like, "No, get here, bro." And I was like, "Oh, I thought I had about 2 or 3 hours, right?" So they're like, "Get here." I'm like, "Oh man." So I just got down there, and this is Miami, which I'm from Fort Lauderdale, which is close to Miami, but Miami is just a whole other animal, especially this area I was in. And dude, I got lost, man. And I went up into like three different parking garages, man. So mind you, I am emaciated, man. I am like, so I talked about like the breaking point earlier in the day, like about how like your body wants to break, but your mind can take you past it. Cause I had been fasting now for about a day, and I'm like getting to the point where I'm feeling kind of tired and thirsty, right? So I'm talking about that. Yo, I was not even near close to the breaking point to when I was at this point now. Okay, right. So I'm trying to find the weigh-in spot because I have to weigh in. Right, this is the day before the fight. I went to three different parking garages, bro. The last parking garage I went to, I went up the stairs, I went down the stairs, I went up the stairs, I had to go down the stairs, and then I had to go back up the stairs and then get my truck and then turn it and bring it to this other place where I had to come down the stairs. And then the hotel was right up on the hill over there. And I finally got there. Okay. I was like, I was so lost. Okay. And like what happens when you're kind of that tired and thirsty and hungry and stuff, you're kind of, it gets kind of foggy, And bro, these guys are calling me every 3 minutes, like, where are you? I thought you were gonna be here, man. The commission's waiting for you. Everyone's gone, man. So this has been going on for like 20 minutes now, and I'm like, I'm coming. I'm coming, man. I'm right here. And dude, the hotel now that's right there up the hill. And dude, I'm like, ah, I got my sweatsuit. I am soaked. I am soaking wet, but like there's no place I can like ditch the stuff. And I basically have to keep it on until I get there, try and get every little ounce out of me, and hopefully I'm on weight. And dude, like, make a longer story short, I freaking get in the doors and everybody's just sitting there, just like waiting. Everybody's gone. All the misfits people wait in and stuff like that. But all the same people are there, like all the commissioners. But good thing they knew me. They're like, all right, Ryan, let's do this. And the second I got there, man, dude, literally I walked through the doors and I had people literally helping take off all the clothes, and the Misfits people filmed it. Dude, I just got buck naked, bro. Straight in the middle of the lobby of the hotel. They were like putting sheets up. I'm like, I don't give a darn, man. I took everything off, got buck naked, man, and I was 139.8. And praise God, man, that I because man, it was like a photo finish, man.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, it was just amazing how everything worked out with that show because it was like so last minute. But like if they knew like how much they actually expected out of me and made to make that happen, and then to have a good fight, like I won that. I won that experience, you know. So
Huh.
it was a good experience in our favor. And what was even cooler about the experience, besides a great fight, a great opponent, and nice hat by the way.
Oh.
Oh, whoa, nice, nice. I could tell it was some type of lion. But yo, they put us up into this ICB category now. So we're in this now, this international crossover boxing category now. So that's how I ranked like number 10 in this international crossover boxing category because I entered a influencer boxing show on Misfits. So now I was considered an influencer, and now I made it to that show. So now they counted like my 4 or 5 boxing wins. They counted that in the influencer league, and that brought my ranking up to like number 10 in the whole world. So
That's sick. I
I'm
saw
right
that.
there, right above Nate Diaz. So that was pretty cool.
I saw that screenshot. That was sick.
Yeah, so even with them, they're now a real association by the PBA, like boxing association, and I'm constantly tagging them like to get me a shot at their new belt. They want to rake me so high, let me fight for that belt because I'm one of few people that even have boxing wins in a pro category. So these people are like look up to me because I'm a real pro. So put me in there, I'll be your champ. They have a nice big champion belt, and it's a good way for me to get a nice belt as a pro.
That would be bad for some of these guys, like Salt Poppy and all these guys. That would be bad if the lion ran into them. That would be not.
Yeah, what's cool about these guys too though now, like a guy like Saul Poppy, like he's pretty damn good now. Like he's a pretty good boxer when he like some of these guys are turning into real boxers, over the course of like 2, 3 years. So
It's
it's
like
good,
that,
man. It's good
the
for
Jake
them.
Paul effect. It's like that Jake Paul effect.
Exactly. This Jake Paul effect, the ripple effect is, and I've met some influencers who are like people, they make stories about themselves where people are saying, "Oh, you ain't shit. Like you're just a skinny little dude." Like my boy Fox. Like shout out to Fox. He's over here like a little like little nice little Irish, little Scottish boy or something. He's got an accent, but dude turned into a beast, man, and he knocked out like a real boxer. So you can't even tell some of these influencers from boxers now. So it's a
Crazy.
pretty cool mix up. And I guess I'm in the mix because I'm a crossover fighter too. I came from pro MMA. So I wasn't a lifelong boxer like a Shakur Stevenson or all these guys that came up in the amateurs that established their name so that they can be the A side in boxing.
You're a fighter,
If
man.
I
That's
came up in the amateurs, man, they would have known who I was, and I would have been an A side guy.
you're a fighter.
That's how I feel, but
Lion heart, everything. That's what it is.
it would have been a good household name. We would have definitely did. But now, as a pro, we're doing that. But the way we have to do it is by fighting the top dogs in the world and showing them that we can take them, and give them a good run for their money.
Yeah, I think just the story, your story is just starting too. It's just beginning, People are starting to catch on. Even with the DAZN, I think that was good because it was good exposure with their social media following and people commenting. Like all the comments for the most part were real positive. Like some
Yeah, sure, man.
bringing eyes to you,
Yeah, bro. It didn't hurt, bro. You know, if anything, you know, that was a victory, you know, and I look at fights like that, like, okay, he got his hand raised, but it's like, yo, did he whoop me? You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't lose, you know what I mean? So it's like we ran out of time. And bro, if we had four more rounds, let's say, that could have been a whole different animal, you know what I mean? So that kid was just hanging on, you know, to finish that fight. I felt like I was finishing stronger and I was whipping at him, trying to take him out of there, hoping there was another round, you know? He was glad that was over type, you know what I mean?
What's your
So
what's your diet been like? I know that you talked to me about it a little bit. I think that's every time I tell people about it and they watch your fights and like I think I tell them like the coolest thing about Ryan though isn't about him as a fighter, like he's a great fighter, but it's him as a person. Like he's a good person, man of God, diet, like all these like interesting like way of living. Like
thank you, dude.
yeah, man. Talk about that a little bit for people that don't know, like some of your diet, your some of your training methods, like some of those unique stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Like right now, I'm sipping on straight coconut water, straight from the coconuts. Like, you know me, man. I'm always picking them down every day. It's like a constant hunt, like, you know, and I'm blessed to live in South Florida. So I can just go around the corner and find some, and I pick them down with my brother, and we catch them. And dude, it's like the best liquid like in the world, and like I just don't know why like you know, you wouldn't drink it. I mean, it's amazing. And right now, it's avocado season in Florida, and I'm blessed to live like right next in Dania Beach where there's avocado trees. And I don't know if like, you know, you just have to have the eyes to see, but like literally there's food outside like all over the place. You know what I mean? In different seasons, God's constantly providing, but right now it's been coconuts and avocados, man. That's like my main diet is coconuts, and I love avocados, especially watching them like pop off the tree right next to my house. I go with my same coconut stick and I pick them down, and you know, and I'm just like ripening them. And mango season just ended. I was eating the crap out of those, you know. But yeah, you know, I'm also I live right next to the ocean. You know, my whole life I've been a fisherman, but eating fresh fish is like something that makes me feel the best, you know. I recently just got a couple of chickens because I was up at my buddy's farm recently and eating some fresh chicken eggs, man. Dude, that made me feel like Superman. I mean, dude, you start your day off with some fresh chicken eggs. I mean, it's a totally different feeling like than the store-bought eggs. I promise. I don't under, you know, like I try and after I eat some of those eggs, I try and buy the store-bought eggs. It's totally different color, totally different feeling. You know, like, dude, when I was eating those eggs, like my digestive system worked great. Like everything was feeling amazing, you know. But so, like, dude, the more holistic we can be, I realize, the better I feel, you know. So I'm just constantly like trying to keep it minimal and trying to keep it fresh. Like, dude, if I can just drink coconut water, eat avocados, and have a fish and a lobster, that's all I'm gonna eat all day, bro. And like that, you'll feel amazing, bro. You
And
know, like
what about regular water?
less is
Bottled
better,
water?
you know, less is better when you go for like quality, you
Yeah.
know, because otherwise you could just like eat like crap all day and like never feel fulfilled. But like, dude, like on an empty stomach, like on a real like clean empty stomach, if you drank some coconut water with like an avocado and toast, like, dude, you'll be good for hours and you'll feel like you drank a Red Bull,
Yeah.
you know? So I just go off the feeling, man. And like I'm just constantly going into that. And I realize like, you know, obviously they're poisoning us like with the food. I mean, it's just like it's obvious now. And I mean, even if you know you're gonna say they're not or whatever, unintentionally, intentionally, the food isn't too good for you, you know, especially in abundance, right? The way that our food is processed. So I've kind of just like once I learned about that, and once I learned about the food pyramid being a scam, and, you know, I basically like got off of like, you know, trying to eat abundance and more concerning with just like putting good nutrients in your body, you know. And that's just the most important thing for me right now, you know. So my mind works clearly and I feel good to do this.
Like no bottled water, no supermarket meats, like none of that.
I mean, I'll sometimes like try some supermarket meats and stuff like that. Like if I see like it might look like a nice fresh cut or something like that. Like I'm not a vegetarian by any means. Like I'm the lion. Like I would eat a freaking fresh meal. Like, but the thing about me is I need fresh. So like yeah, I'm pretty skeptical of like most meats, but like if I find like a fresh lamb chop from a good source.
Yeah.
I might get something that looks nice and prime and fresh. I'm definitely about it for sure. I really like fresh mushrooms and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, but like honestly, like any like processed stuff, and yeah, I don't like bottled waters and stuff. If I'm dehydrated, I'm in a training session, and you give me some bottled water, I'm not gonna, no, of course, like I'll hydrate with that, but mostly I'm drinking coconut water, like if I can.
That's you played like college football and all. So how much weight did you like? When did you switch this? You were like a big
Oh
dude, right?
damn, man, dude, my college football days. This is a drawing actually, from my college football days.
Oh wow.
Um, a female cheerleader drew that for me. Yeah, I was a big boy. Look, this is me when I was a kid. I was a football player my whole life. I was a little warrior. But yeah, I played football my entire life, man. I thought football was life, man. And dude, when I played college football, I used to walk around at 185 pounds. I off season one time, like trying to bulk into my senior year, I got up to 199 pounds. And I was like, dude, like freaking, I was huge. But dude, now I walk around at 150 pounds, you know,
That's
like
crazy.
we're thin.
That's wild, bro. What's the
But
heaviest you ever
I
got?
was a totally different creature for sure. Yeah.
What's the heaviest you ever got?
199 pounds.
99. Yeah, that's crazy. And how many years
Yeah,
ago?
yeah. That's like trying to keep up with like, the big boys, like eating peanut butter and jellies in between your protein drinks, in between your 4 meals a day, in between your workouts. It's like, and I lived in a college campus, so like I lived for football training and eating and stuff. So
Yeah.
my whole life was football, and like that was my college experience was like living in campus. I went to Wisconsin, a school in Wisconsin. I played college football. I was like yoked. I busted up my body like crazy. And then when I graduated, and I'm like, I realized like I'm not going professional and stuff. They just send you out into the world with your little paper degree. And for me, they sent me out with a couple of bottle of pain prescription medicines, and here you go into the world. Boom, you're done. And that's when I learned about life. Life had to hit me in the face hard, and I had to learn what it was like without a team, without a coach. And I just had to go into the world and start working construction and just like feeling like a complete nobody, right? Going from being the superstar at your school to being like just anybody out here. So I never felt right like working in the workplace like after college. So like I definitely went down into depression. I didn't know where I was at. Um, I didn't know what was up. I ended up continuing using substances after college because that was the only thing that made me feel like waking up in the morning. I just like a young man had no purpose for life at that moment. After coming off some of the highest moments of my life, right? But coming into the world, I felt the lowest I could ever feel. But eventually, a traumatic event happened where both me and my brother actually got ourselves in a dojo. What happened was one of my best friends' brother killed himself, and he's a bare knuckle fighter. His name's Bruce Medial. He's the Iron Lion, and his brother killed himself, and he had just started a gym at the time. And I wasn't doing too well. My brother wasn't doing too well. This is about 8 years ago now. So he had just started a gym at the time, and I said, you know what, man, screw this. And to make another story shorter, we joined that gym and we just freaking amateur fought. We did 12 fights in that year. We just fought and built up the gym and just trained. And before you know it, I had 12 amateur fights, and we had built up a little bit of a reputation. And it really got me out of a funk, bringing me back with my people, and it gave me a sense of purpose, fighting. I realized that I was inspiring people, and that's what led to this entire journey, man, where I found myself again. There was no way I was going to live an ordinary life after I had basically come back from hell, where like I almost didn't make it, right? Like after college, there was a period of my life where I was every type of messed up you could think of. Like, I even ended up in institution because I was so drug dependent, on medicines to try and fix me because my brain was so messed up, And so I wasn't always the lion. Like I went through the darkest times, and what I found is that some of the strongest, best people have been through some of the, God really had to forge us and put us through it, man. So that's basically my story about how it led into me becoming, this fighter like later in my life, because, like after bouncing back from drug addiction and depression and losing my mom, 8 years ago in a car wreck, just going out into like the darkest pit where like you don't feel like living anymore. That's where you find God,
Yeah.
and honestly, like God saved me before I even really had an encounter with him. He really started to turn my life around. But once I had the revelation that God was working in my life, I mean, it was like a whole new life started for me, and now I had a whole new battery source, and now my passion for life completely changed, and now I had a purpose again, and purpose and passion is everything, man. And like my passion and purpose is so great because it's a never ending journey of limitless like potential, right? It's all about empowering each other, which is a limitless endeavor, and it's about gaining strength, which is a limitless endeavor. So it's just like the ultimate passionable and enjoyable journey, and it's just such a blessing from God to like have this second renewed chance at life,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm at now, man. I'm just running with it, man. The past 8 years straight, we've been just, nothing but training and training others and training with people, and mainly just being consistent for those who don't think it's possible, and, just getting out there, walking straight into fear and getting in the ring and getting better and better and better and better,
For sure.
and now we're starting to beat these guys that are world they're looking at, as to be potential world champions. Well, what does that say about us,
Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of people I can relate to that too. I'll tell you a quick story too. When I was in like seventh and or eighth grade, I was a really good basketball player in my area. Like there's in Philadelphia, we have in the Catholic school system. I went to public school, but we had like the CYO. So I don't know if they have that in Florida, but they picked two kids from each area to play in like the city all-star game. And I was always just going to go to my public school and do that. But I ended up getting that's just the way I played. I had one of them years where, and at that time I'm about 6'1". I was probably about 5'11" in eighth grade, about 150 pounds, and a pretty good player. So I got a good amount of money to go to a private school and play. Long story short, I ended up bouncing around schools, and basketball is like my whole entire life. And I
yeah,
thought,
you're a young guy.
yeah, that it was everything. I got to a point where my bouncing around schools, I end up at a Christian school, and I have I have a pretty good game, but it comes down to I'm at the free throw line to win the game, and I missed the shot, and I
Oh,
was pissed, and it was my whole life, and like there would be college coaches. I played a little bit of D3 college hoops, but that's even another long story. But um I missed the shot. The next day I'm the worst person. If I have a good game, like me and you are boys, everyone's cool. I have the girls, everything's great. If I have a bad game, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm reclusive. I'm just by myself. And it's a
yeah,
Christian school, so pastor pulls me aside the next day. I didn't even go to my first or second period class. I'm all, selfish and that.
right.
I'm walking around. The pastor pulls me aside and he says, "Come in my office. I want to talk to you." We go in there and he says, "Who are you?" I'm like, "What do you mean, who am I?" He's like, "Who are you?" Like, I'm Danny. I'm what? Like, what are you trying to get? I'm being like a smart ass with him. And he's
Mhm.
like, well, no, who are you? I'm like, I'm a basketball player. I'm a this or that. And at that point, I kind of realized that I'm not going to go to a high level. My grades aren't the best. I'm kind of just like not the best person. And he says, no. He's like, this is where it's all wrong. He's like, your identity lies in Christ. And at that time, I wasn't a serious believer. I'm just a lukewarm Catholic. I'm just but over time, I realized what he meant, and that's like when we put our identity into earthly things, God eventually will take them away. Like
Mhm.
you'll always be a son, you'll always be a brother, you'll always be a man of God, a follower of Christ. I think that's what you put your identity in, and I think even with your story, like I can relate to it on a level like whereas my identity was off too. You know what I mean? And you find once you find Christ, you have that peace, and it's almost like that fire inside of you. And I think for you, that translated into fighting and it was almost a whole
Absolutely.
culmination, you know?
Oh, absolutely, bro. That's it, bro. And so many of us have like these experiences in our own way, and we
Yeah.
we have our, outlet in some form, you know what I mean? And like, dude, like I see you even have fire for life, bro. You're doing your thing, bro. You're a busy dude now. You got a lot of stuff going for you, and you realize like it wasn't the end. God gave you a new identity, or gave you the revelation, made you realize, like, dude, this is just basically just your earthly duty that I'm like giving you to have fun with your daily toils. But this is just the small stuff, like your duty is to be a man of God first and to
Yep.
fight these earthly spiritual battles. And to me, that's like the greatest honor and some of the biggest battles like I'll ever face. So it makes like so many things seem small and just easy and just effortless, you know?
Yeah, and you even put together into fighting. It's almost like for you, it's like a spiritual journey. Like even after your boxing career is over, you'll still always be like a fighter. You know what I mean? It'll still always be
Yeah.
that person. It's never going to change. And you're always going to be a friend. You're always going to be a son. You're always going to be a brother. Like those are the
Yeah.
constants. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
think
dude.
a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people don't
Go
realize,
ahead.
you know?
Dude, that brings me to like my point about my friend was saying, like, he's like, it's funny about it, like you and like I brought it up to other, bro. You'll never see nobody like being disrespectful for me and like in my fight, you're never gonna see me like us like bantering or talking crap about each other's family and stuff like that. It's like because I don't have to make attention for myself or make an identity for myself through conflict, which is like what the world is. It's like the world resonates on like that level, and like most people can only bring attention to themselves by like calling out someone and talking about their mom and making them all pissed off and stuff like that. But I can create a different type of experience. Like I can create the same type of powerful experience, but in like I choose to do it in an inspiring and respectful way. Like I show people like the warrior of God way. You know what I mean? Like just because this person is my opponent and I'm gonna seriously do work doesn't mean like he's my enemy. You know what I mean? This is a test from God. And
Yeah.
that's how I look at everything, and once you take like the personal aspect out of it and stuff and you look at everything as a personal developer, a personal growth that is something that only you and God can really understand, your whole life is different, and that's what following God is all about, and like having this relationship with God and Jesus that we talk about, that man, if people can't understand it, that's a way to understand it. It's just like that's who we resonate with in order to like go through with some of these things. How we inspire others is how we learn how to do it.
Yeah.
you know
What makes you
God,
like,
Jesus, how.
and I think like I think a lot. I think it would be good for people to hear this. Like, what makes you so confident in Christ? Like, I know a lot of people will say they're believers, or and everyone struggles. I struggle. We're all humans. Like, we have our doubts, we have our humanly struggles. But like, what makes you like that fire, like that lion fire confidence for Christ? Like, what is that for you? You know?
Yeah, well, for me, it was a personal experience. I mean, I had like an extreme like visual and very real physical metaphysical experience with God. And you know, it happened. It didn't just like happen like abruptly, like God like entered in front of me and like I had the vision and stuff like that. But I just, you know, through a series of profound events and things that I thought would be, you know, coincidences, all had led up to a point of revelation at a certain point after I had brothers that were sent from God to pray for me. I had people I didn't even know pray for me a couple years back, and just like the seeing the genuineness in these people opened my heart. Even though I was in a very close place at the time, I didn't really want to hear it. I didn't want people to pray for me. I just gave it that one little bit, like just allowed it in, just that tiny little bit of them to come into my life, and it really was very very powerful. The fact that another man took about 10 minutes to just sit there and pray for me, you know. And I mean, people, okay, oh, what, you gay or something. It's like, dude, this is so far beyond like the world, you know, that it was just so powerful to me, like to really see like people going against the grain. And like, even if anybody said, oh, that's weak, bro, like, oh, you really give into that and believe into that stuff, like it becomes more true to me the more there's like, you know, the more you're persecuted, the more it becomes true to me now, you know. And I just really felt like the power of like, you know, being standout and walking like the tight path, you know, that narrow path. I I don't want to be a follower of the world, you know. I want to be one of the strong, one of the elect, one of the you know, warriors that are like standing aside of, from the world, you know. Everybody else is looking this way. God taught me how to look this way now, you know. And that's just why I'm so grateful. Like I have a whole new set of eyes, and just from what I've been through and like really experiencing near death and literally dying because I didn't know how to control my own fleshly desires. I overdosed myself. You know what I'm saying? I was just constantly seeking like any type of like external pleasures to like fill holes in my life. Dude, like the way that God was able to come and heal those things and like give me the opportunity to grow into the lion, you know. It's just I owe him everything, and that's why I praise him so much, and that's why I always I'm one of those guys that just keep God at the forefront, because it's just, if it wasn't for God in my life, I just wouldn't have this power source. So the more I say God or I talk about Jesus, the more fuel I get, you know. So I'm sorry, everyone, but that's my battery.
That's power, though. That's power, and that's powerful for people like listening to this. Seriously, because it's a lot of people are forged by fire, and it takes the fire. Like someone can just say these type of things, but and I hope people just listen. But a lot of times it takes for, like you said, to see the like to be in the darkness to ultimately see the light, you know?
Yeah.
And
We're like
it's
experimental creatures. Like
yeah.
we like won't believe like there's a hell unless you go there.
Yeah.
You know, I literally had to like go there to like believe, you know what I'm saying? Or like I would have never believed in God if God didn't like give me that internal experience and like literally like show me his divine power in my own intricate way that's beyond understanding. Like God came into me and made me have a revelation, and it's like in a way that I can't deny, you know.
Yeah.
So however that is for others or however it would be for somebody else, but when it happens for you, that level of faith and belief, honestly, like it'll raise your vibration, because now instead of like having an uncertainty about it, like I'm living in a knowing that I have a divine, supreme, heavenly creator. And it's just it's baffling to me. It's like something amazing. Like how could you not live in like just complete like amazement and wonder and be back again like a child, like knowing that, you know?
Yeah. And this is kind of like off topic, but did you know, like for me, at least in my circle of people, like I noticed that in the past 5 years, it seems like there's more and more people like us that maybe we're just normal people that are like all of a sudden on fire for it. all of a sudden are
Oh, dude,
becoming.
totally,
It's a
totally.
it's a
You're
weird
totally.
like it's a revolution of like, maybe the way the world's going and eyes are opening or whatever the case may be. But I saw a reel on Instagram that was like my faith in 2019, my faith in 2024, and it's like yeah, yeah, it's crazy
I know, because you know why? It honestly, it took me to see the evil in the world. Like, I really had to go, like, I wasn't shown the light first. I was shown the darkness first. I went down the rabbit hole of death. Like, I went and learned about all the Satanism on this earth. I learned about how children are being taken and all the darkness behind all of that, that I won't even dare to even speak any energy into. But I speak the name of Jesus over the darkness that is tormenting children and stealing their life force. And, like, there are some real dark things going on in this earth, whether people want to turn a blind eye or not. But I just choose to be a warrior. And, guys like us, like, God really bands us together. Even in his word, he says that he'll give us the fellowship, seek him first, and he brings us the fellowship. And that's what God's done in my life, is like brought me around quality people also. And look, put me in a position like this. Like, look, I'm talking to another brother in Christ where potentially the world can, experience this inspiration.
for sure. And
But
even people
go
like
ahead.
that aren't super spiritual, like they'll respect you, like that you're a professional fighter, a warrior, and to hear you talk like this, there's nothing that's like soft about Christianity. Even if you think about it, our Savior is the ultimate badass, not even in a
Well,
blasphemous
you
way,
know
but
how I felt.
he's the ultimate. He with nails on his hands and his feet, and he didn't back down. He mean mugged it. It was
Oh,
savage.
see what I'm saying? Like, I get chills, bro. Like, see that experience. You have to immerse yourself in the experience. You have to allow it to happen. And when you do that, God literally plays it in your mind and opens you up in a way where you weren't ready for. You didn't know before. Like, you can't know until you know. Okay. So don't think that you know everything. Like, you don't. Like, when I love when people are like, "Oh yeah, oh, you're one of those. You brought up God. Oh, you believe in a sky daddy or something." It's like you're missing out on the most divine, most unimaginable source of power that's unfathomable to you, because you just put a wall up, like God talks about. Like, seek me and you'll find me, right? You're not even willing. And all it takes is a little fractal of faith. And faith doesn't even have to be you, like, oh, let me give this God a shot. It's you just bending your ear slightly.
Yeah,
God can transform your life in 2 seconds. Like, it can literally happen like that.
it's true.
So many people are like this close from the miracle, but they're just like, they have like too many influences around them saying, oh, don't listen to that, or like too many. They're just, the devil's keeping them distracted, and like they're just not aware of the spiritual battle, like how it takes place, like all the distractions and everything that diverges you away from what's ultimately going to set you
Yeah,
free.
absolutely. I was listening to one of your interviews you did with the guy who made the back of the shirts. You
Steve.
Steve, and he asked you, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but he asked you this question. He said when you were at the DAZN fight with all the girls around and all, he's like, were you like, because you said you were celibate for how many years now? What, 3 years? Like, what was
Yeah.
does that tie into the spirit? Like, does that tie into the
Well,
transformation?
I definitely have grown in that sense, because I used to look to, like, I would always be fantasizing about women, and I would always be just like, on a dating app, like, just like any other like
Yeah,
guy consumed by, poon. I was just like that, and like trying to juggle that and be a man. Looking back now, it's like, where are your priorities? You know what I'm saying? And like, that's what's amazing about having God, and like in your life, like giving you this. And it's just like, okay, yes, it's a serious offense to me now to like just have sex with women, so like, because I feel like that's like soul tying and just splurging out all my energy, and just like, that's just ungiven energy, and that's just me totally disrespecting, knowing like God told me, like in his own way with me, like God uh, presented like to me that like that wasn't the way anymore, you know. So if I know that and I willingly go against it, like for me that's certain death, you know. And
Yeah.
just for me, I just choose to just follow what it makes me feel right, you know. And not being a man whore, not sleeping around, not being on the dating apps, it's given me so much more like attention and focus to my life that I'm able to train other people. I'm not bent out. Man, Ryan, how do you have all this energy all the time, man? How are you able to go from training session to training me back to another training session to doing this? Man, is it your diet? Is it this? Yeah, well, maybe it's also not the fact that I'm not just watching pornography all day. I haven't watched in years. I don't, I don't what I'm saying? I don't just lose my sacred, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't have that. That's mine.
I'm with you,
God
brother.
gave that to me to work with, and to heal my body, and I just believe that, and that's just how I am now, and honestly, like time now is flying by, and the fact that I haven't found my wife yet, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for, some one night stand anymore. I'm looking for like, the real deal, and I want to respect the laws, and I want to have good karma. So I'm holding out for the right one, and
That's
that's just how I'm doing.
that's a yeah, bro. Yeah, brother. I'm with you, man. That's a different level. That's and
Yeah.
that's commitment. People can say like this or that. That's physical commitment. That's
Yeah. But you know what's crazy, dog? It's like people, man, dog, man, that would be rough, bro. Like literally, I have no desire to like, so it's
yeah.
not like hard. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's not like, oh yeah, I see a fine chick. Trust me, I see women, bro. When I'm watching these two chicks and they're trying to fight each other and they're bouncing around. Oh, trust me, like I'm a man, like I'm enticed, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that I'm able to just like put my game face back on and get back in the game and not like lose focus and not just diverge and just completely lose track of like what I'm doing and just go, yeah, I talk to girls. I love to holler at girls and just talk with them. But like I'm in such like a mode where like if you're not gonna be my wife, I'm not gonna just try and just get you to, because I don't disrespect people. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, and I don't disrespect females because like I said, I want the ultimate karma. I want to have that the righteous family and stuff like that. How you gonna go from just slopping around with females to all of a sudden being a righteous man of with a family? So if I can't even hold true without a girl, how am I gonna hold true with a girl, right?
Great.
So
That's a great.
so I've had plenty of girlfriends in the past. I was always having a girlfriend, and it's not like I'll ever get sick of being with a beautiful woman. I'm very much desiring, to be with like a woman and have that empowerment as well. And that would be even next level, right? But it can't be nothing less than like a woman of God who's like gonna push you to the next level, right?
Gives you a high
Because like,
vibration too to attract that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You're
yeah,
attracted.
yeah. Right, right. It's like, so it's like I've looked I believe in that too. So like who I was before, I wasn't attracting like, the best situations. I wasn't who I am, and now that I'm in a great relationship with my higher power and I'm on the right track morally, I would be ready to have a wife. And that's thanks to God as well. So I owe everything to God, man. So I'll never stop talking about how much of a power source that is. And I'll do that until the very end, bro, with
Literal.
you.
Yeah, 100%, man. A literal life force and power force. And I'm sure you believe in it too, like you just said, but like the law of attraction, like our earthly law of attraction, and like how people like say me and you connect, or you and a certain person can connect. I think that applies to dating too. It applies to women. It applies on how you're living your life. Like you're gonna attract whether you are your negative qualities and your positive qualities, you're gonna attract that. You know what I mean? That's powerful stuff.
I mean, how are we even, cooking up this dope conversation right now? It's because,
Yeah.
you were open enough to just be like, yo, great fight, bro. And I noticed that you shouted out God, man. Like, when I won that fight, one of my best moments of my whole career was after I won that fight. There's a picture of me. I'm just like pouring it up, and I was just like, it's all thanks to Jesus Christ. And they caught me at the moment where I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's a dope photo, and I just always look back at that photo because it was like my first time getting the mic, and I was able to, give God the glory, and it felt amazing, bro. And dude, when you say something like that, bro, dude, anywhere you go, man, the crowd goes crazy, bro. Dude, people love God, man. I don't care what, if you ever seen Dana White say, "Oh, keep religion
I
out
saw
of it,"
that.
bro, dude. You bring up Jesus, man, the world loves it, man. So the world and the news and the media like to downplay that, oh, Jesus isn't in or something. Dude, Jesus is in, bro.
That's the evil. That's the evil. That's because if you ever notice, it's okay to mock or criticize other religions, or it's okay to mock Christianity, but it's not okay to mock other religions, and that's because it's the
Right.
truth.
Yeah.
That's because it's the truth, and it is what it is. You'll see in cartoons or everything
Yes.
going on in the
The
world.
truth leads to life.
Yep.
And this world wants death, and people don't understand. What do you mean they don't want you? They wouldn't want people. No, they want you spiritually dead. They want you just mindlessly consuming and not being awake and aware and connected to God's power. Being connected to God is life. Being separated from God is death. So that's what the world wants. The world wants us separated from God. So, and like you said before, bro, it's definitely you have to be a beast warrior, lion to follow God in this
Yeah.
world in the present day and age.
Yeah.
So I'm proud, and I'm proud of my people that have turned their back to the world in any way and are trying to change their life around and stick with each other and not let the devil win, and constantly talking about it. Even if we slip up, oh, what? You don't follow God, you slip up. Brother, we're human, but we're meant to just keep fighting. That's the true fight. That's a real fight. Don't just give up. If you just give up after you slip up, that's you giving up in the fight. That's
Yeah.
you taking the ultimate knee and like just being like, oh, that's it. I don't need to get up again. Like, what is that?
Yep.
No, we're fighters. So that to me is like one of the most G things you can do is just to fight, every day and go hard for life,
Jesus is
and
the
to
top view.
empower each other and to go against your own ego, right? What's harder than that? Tell me what's harder than that. And you tell me if you're a beast, right? Stifle your own ego for a second, humble down and learn something. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Even
Yeah.
that brings me to a good thought. I shared this when I was talking to I was a teacher before, and I would talk about this story. Think about like how prideful. Think about like how prideful, say you are, how prideful I am, how prideful your father, your grandfather is, and then think about even the generations back to Jesus's times and how prideful those men were. And imagine you finally meet that wife, and you have your kids, and you have everything that you want, everything that I want, and at that time Jesus says comes to you, and you ultimately decide to become a martyr. You lay down your life and you follow him into the forest, and you have the most gruesome death and everything. Think about, no one would do that for someone who is a fraud. If you think about it from our perspective, like right now someone came to you and said, I am who I say I am, follow me, and I prove it to you, to just give up all your earthly things and your pride and your ego, to be crucified upside down or burned at the stake in front of your family. Like that's
Never heard of anything like that. And people who don't even open up the book condemn the Bible. But dude, if you even like were to try and like comprehend some of these like verses, you would realize this is like otherworldly stuff. Like some of the literature in here is genius. I mean, some of it. I mean, the whole book is completely out of this world. It's like alien literature. Like it's from another time. You know what I'm saying? And it literally teaches us, and it tells us everything that's happening, which is amazing.
yeah.
It's like crazy, It's like it just blows my mind,
That is funny.
How
Like how
could there not be something spiritual going on? Like what? What?
it's so obvious. There's an equal and
Yeah,
opposite reaction to everything, and it's what's the opposite of what's going on? God, Jesus, you know?
yeah, I'm with you, brother.
Yeah. Even like I wear this hat, like it's just like a funny little thing, but you know how they say to be like that Jesus is the ultimate shepherd and we're the sheep. I always would have
Yeah,
like a little play on things where they say wolves are like bad. I would say be a wolf for Christ. because we all have that inner fire in us to say to get in a fight or to do something aggressive or to whatever the case may be. Use all that for Christ. And I think that's why
Dude,
we, yeah,
are some of the most badass creatures actually, and they're some of the most like coolest animals. Like if you actually like learned about wolves, like some of the most loyal animals. Like
yeah,
they feed their old, like they stick with their mate like for life. They don't cheat on their spouses. They don't just hump around. The males don't hump each other. Like their pack rules are like very distinguished from like, it's very morally correct, which is kind of interesting about wolves, you know?
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
time. That's right. That's absolutely right. Now, do you,
Yeah, yeah. Wolves are very cool creatures, and the fact is, wolves know how to survive. And I know that the term lone wolf, that's a special type of wolf, but really wolves aren't alone. Wolves roll in packs, lions roll in packs, and that's where I feel like we're like absolutely the strongest and most powerful. And I feel like the world is always trying to divide us in every way possible.
for sure.
So I'm just always about unity in every way. Like I made this special pact with like God and myself. Like anytime anybody calls me to train, I have to say yes. I can't just be like, oh, nah, like I'm chilling right now. Like no, like let's get it. If someone's down to like take time out of their day to come see me to train and like get better, I have to get up and get better with them. Like I'm not going to be the guy that's going to stop or stifle life. You know what I'm saying? I have to empower life always.
Yeah,
And like I always feel better no matter how my brain or body feels like before a training session or something.
yeah.
Devil's always playing with all of us. Oh, don't do this, or oh, you're too tired to do that. But dude, every time you do and you get through it, brother, you feel like you overcame a demon.
It's easy. It would be easy for you to say, "I'm tired. I'm a professional fighter. I don't have time to do this and that." But you're helping kids. You're helping people in your gym. And I think, like, obviously, you can speak to it, but you have like that magnetic personality to where you can lead somebody to Christ, or you can mentor somebody, and you know what it's like to be in the darkness, so you can help pull someone out. So I think
Yeah,
that's
bro. It absolutely I'm sure you've had your chance to kind of explain to people how it's affected you in your life too. But this endeavor that I'm on, having people come seeking me for guidance and strength, and like you said, being like, people wanting to ask questions around me, I definitely get the chance to you know, show people and tell people how it happens, how all this is, and how I am the way I am, and who's giving me the power. So yeah, man, it's a huge blessing. I love it. I love showing people the way and being able to, express my faith in God.
how's your gym going? I know you got the jungle set up out back.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the magic happens, man. It's right out back, man. You're welcome anytime.
Dude,
But
anytime I'm
it's
down, I
funny.
gotta check it out.
I know when you come down here, bro, we're gonna definitely make it happen. But yo, the gym is cool, man. I got a cool little boxing ring in my backyard. I'm always like, beautifying it, adding new mats and new little pieces of equipment. But I get a lot of training done back there, man. I got my heavy bag, I got my little boxing ring, and I got a lot of, little things to help me train, but I have a lot of good like visualization tools like to really help me train. I have a lot of little training techniques to help me lock in. Even with minimal training gear, I can get like really intense training sessions. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, cool. I have people come back there all the time. I'm having a cool little event there actually this weekend.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
having like a famous singer is coming through to come get mitts and shoot a boxing video while he shoots a music video. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
You gotta start having some Kimbo Slice fights back there.
Yeah, yeah, trust me, we've had some badass
Yeah,
like little fights, back here, but I want to host like a jungle fighting tournament back here
I'm
one day.
saying.
We're gonna do that. You're for sure.
Yeah, do jungle fights, and then after a while it gets built up, and that would be sick. Make some bread too.
Well, that's always a plus, man. God provides, man.
Yeah,
The bread comes.
Now do you do any weight training, like, or like, do you do anything like that, or is it mostly cardio and that
Yeah,
kind
actually, lately, and definitely like for my last couple of camps, I've been doing a lot of weight training, actually, keeping my muscles tight and my body tight. It's important, like I used to do just a lot of rounds and a lot of cardio, but then your joints get kind of loose and you get kind of, you just feel like, yeah. When I work out, everything is real tight, and you can't hurt me, you know what I'm saying? And I like having that extra bit of strength, and it's actually helping with my endurance, having more muscle strength. So
of.
yeah, I'm keeping up with my muscle training. I usually do like muscle training in the morning and then like hit training and cardio like after sometime.
Now, are you go for weight, or do you go for reps? You just pound it out.
It's like reps and
Yeah.
like different type of like crazy like workouts and stuff, like like just different type of like light type of workouts, but like I'll do like one-legged like squats but body weight, you know what I'm saying? But I'll do like very specific work like that where I'll target like stability muscles and stuff like that.
That's tough.
Yeah, pull up. I do a lot of pull ups. Like that's like a full upper body workout right there, But
Yeah.
stuff like that where I'm gaining strength, but not like potentially stressing my joints, But I do
Yeah.
some weights, I like to press some stuff, or saying get in there. I do a little something, something. I
You
hang
ever
weights a
hear
little bit, but yeah, I like to do all sorts of cool stuff, man. We'll put like a band around my waist and go on the beach, and I'll like, somebody will hold it, and I'll like run forward, and
Rocky
we
3?
do stuff like, yeah, man, we do stuff like that, real, try and stress it out as much as possible so that when you're in the fight, it's easy.
Next time if you go through and watch the Rockies, next time you watch it, look at it from like a Christian lens, because I saw a video of Sly talking about how Rocky is actually a Christian journey. It's in the very beginning. It's like his struggles, and if you remember in Rocky 1, the first scene that you see is Jesus, and then it goes down to
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah, it goes down to
right.
him fighting Spider Rico, and he's struggling. He's fighting the club fights. He's getting beat up. Remember, he gets headbutted, and he's just kind of
Yeah,
like, but the whole thing is
that's
like,
how my career started.
yeah, it's
No, I know, and that's life, man. It's so relatable, man. And that's why this martial arts journey, the boxing journey, my endeavor has been boxing now, but it's just because with respect to the sport, like I had to just like I can't be going from like MMA to boxing to MMA. It's just like I'll be mediocre at both, So that's
yeah,
why I just zeroed in boxing. But dude, training is for everyone, man, because it's really about it's like truly the fight of life, like you're fighting to just get better. So it's like, what's better? Better is better than you were yesterday. So it's like, yeah, it's a limitless journey. So how could you be bored with that?
yeah. Any update on your next fight? Like any? I know you said you're gonna fight that guy Ahmad. You said.
Well, I'm hoping that one goes through because their offer was pretty nice, where the money was good for that one. So I'm hoping that one goes through. But I really would like to get in this ICB company. I mentioned it before, the International Crossover Boxing League. They have their own league now, and they got a nice big shiny diamond belt that I really want. And they gave me some recognition by giving me that 10th spot, So I've been interacting with them, and they're kind of new, so they've been like talking back with me, and I think that we're gonna manifest that one day pretty soon here. I'm looking to fight for that belt.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
I
sick.
called out anybody between 140 and 147 for that belt. So
That's yours,
let's
man.
go.
If you fight that guy in Maryland, would that be in Philly, or would that be, yeah, would that be up near in Maryland?
It was at the Casino Live in Maryland.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's not too far from here. It's like,
is that true?
when would that be? October,
November 9th.
November 9th. Okay, dropping it
Uh-huh.
early, dropping the date early. People can watch. That's
It sounds like this gonna be it, bro. They're talking, and they when they talk to me like this, it usually goes through. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome,
we'll
bro.
see.
I think we
Thank
nailed
you,
it. We nailed every topic. I think people are gonna love listening to this.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, man. Dude, talking to you, time flies, bro. You're one of my great brothers out there, dude. I'm really looking forward to continuing this journey together, man.
Sure.
And we're just gonna continue to upgrade, and just stay up with each other and just do this as a fam, bro.
For
Team
sure.
Lion, man, under God Jesus, brother.
Yeah, anything you need,
Who
dude.
gives us strength to do all things.
Yeah, whatever you need, man. Helping with shirts or helping with videos and stuff like that. I got you. Whatever you
Oh,
need.
I know it, man. I can't wait to see that highlight reel, dude. But yeah,
I know.
man, we're just gonna stay up.
What I'll do is like I said, I can't figure out how to screen share, but I'm just gonna upload to YouTube and I'll send you the link tonight. Check it out. Looks pretty
That
cool.
sounds dope.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's like your past four fights, but I wish I had that Concepcion fight. Undefeated guy
Yeah,
that you beat down pretty good. But I
yeah,
can't.
yeah. I had some. There's been a couple of good highlights in a couple of my other previous fights too. But hey, what you did was awesome, man. And thank you, bro. You know, for just being my bro out there, and just being part of the Lion Pack, man. You know, I got your back too, bro. So let's just keep doing this together, man. You're doing awesome, bro, with your stuff, bro. Stay busy with all your production stuff, man. And the podcast is doing good. It's a pleasure to be on here, man.
Yeah, we'll have to keep doing it every once in a while. Just keep updated so people can hear about the story with the lion. And pretty soon,
Keep up there, man, because we're right in the middle of this thing, man.
yeah, pretty soon you'll have that belt, the ICB belt. You'll have to put on.
Right?
That'll be
We'll
tough.
be talking. I'll be holding it up, bro, for sure, man.
Well, people,
Watch. No, we're gonna look back to this moment.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, for anyone tuning in that maybe this is their first time watching it or learning about the lion, like where can they find you on social media, all that kind of good
Well,
stuff.
yeah, man. Ryan the Lion Boxing. Look
Right.
me up, Ryan the Lion Boxing. You know, you'll find me. You'll see my name is Ryan Schwartzberg. So if you see a cool looking last name that looks about that long, yeah, that's me. You know, usually it's a picture of me punching at some dude. So you'll know it's me, man. But yeah, Ryan the Lion Boxing is my tag handle, and you'll find me, guys.
For sure. And they got to get some shirts too. Maybe hit you up for some shirts, place a couple of orders for some gear.
Definitely hit me up. I'm very friendly on the internet. I always respond to anybody that's talking to me. I'll get you a shirt, and it's my absolute pleasure to add people to the Lion Pack. So let's
Sure.
do this together, fam. Let's
Thanks,
keep
bro.
rocking, man. Danny, dude, it's been another pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to the continued series, man.
For sure, brother. All right, man. Good talking to you.
Thank
Take
you
care.
so much, fam.